Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, that's what's up, people. Do I know what the date is? No idea. It is the 24th of November, 2025. It is second season and episode 16 of the Slyso TV podcast, and welcome to it. Like I used to do, take off my spectacles, even though I'm going to see you all blurry, like I've had a couple of beers. But it's only because we're going to have like a hectic show today. It's going to be a hectic show today. Let me start by welcoming the Queen in the building. What's going on? What's going on? Are you good? Are you good?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Before you even answer, let's welcome another queen in the building.
Another queen.
Hello.
It is the house of queens and
right?
kings.
And this one gent.
One gent.
So then I become the rose amongst thorns because it's never like thorns around rose, like
wow, the self-love.
So I be the rose, darling. Coming from the protest and all. So I figured. How's everybody doing?
Jeez, man. Good and tired at the same time. You know, I feel like I'm at that point where I'm like, I'm good, but I'm also like, I'm over it. The year must end now.
Yeah, you feel like all the teams that have been playing against the Springbok.
Yes, pretty much. Pretty much, kind of. We kind of know how this is gonna end. You know, we kind of know how this is. You know, when you know you're gonna lose at the end of the day, you're just like, okay, let's run.
Okay.
Charge it to the game. Yeah.
Charge it to the game. Okay. Yeah. AB, what's going on?
I'm good. It's nice to be back, actually, because I debuted, and then I. It's not on papers. You know, I was out of commission for a little bit. Now I'm back. I'm better than ever.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Guys, chock-a-block show, we got tonight, eh?
Yeah.
There's just like a lot happening, starting with the G20.
Yo, yeah.
How did we do?
You know what? I
deserve the horn?
I was feeling a bit proud this week, just throughout the week with the G20. I mean, I even recognized Cyril, you know, our president, to say, you know what, we have a lot of differences. We had a lot of things that we're not happy with his leadership and his, you know,
with him.
But we were willing to put those things aside, and we were like, okay, let's summit. Let's, you know, we are behind him and the team SA. Again, I think we were just proud to, you know, have our president really just show up, man, for us, not just for South Africa, but for the continent itself. I think we're very, very proud moment. And then, of course, I think we were even prouder for standing up to those bullies, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, Orange.
So,
yeah. This one is not going to say much because she's a globetrotter. She might find herself in the United States like in the next 2 weeks. So you can reserve your comments.
A little bit of a message to send by a city child.
I'm so
we've got a letter for the White House.
I must go to Washington and I must deliver live jive.
No, you can find some CIA or somebody to go drop off at the Oval Office.
Yeah.
I don't know how it got here, but this is the message from the South Africans. They're saying that they are tired of your cock. You thought you were going to sabotage South Africa, but it did not work because all the other countries, they said, what are we going to miss out on?
It was trying to prove a narrative that is non-existent, that we're not capable, you know, we need to be babysat. I don't know where this idea of African countries needing to be a babysitter comes from. Like, we are very much capable. Please, I think we really need a bit of a back off. I think they've got a lot going on in America, actually, that they need to be focusing on. Trump has a lot going on in his hands that he needs to focus on in his country. than worry about us South Africans and
Hmm.
African countries in general. But
Yeah,
I do feel, Slyso, that it was a bit disappointing that I didn't see a lot of African countries standing up with South Africa. I don't know if I missed it a little bit in terms of supporting, especially with the bullying that was happening, that our
no,
president and
you.
our team kind of had to, had to deal with. I didn't feel a strong sense of just the African Union type of, solidarity to say, look,
Yeah. No,
no.
we had none of that from African leaders, those who were here. I mean, like I think people like even Zimbabwe, they sent like a deputy president, and I'm asking to myself, Namgakwa, like what the fuck? Who knows Kwandam, bro? Like
I mean,
really?
literally,
The Zimbabwean president, like
what do you mean?
like siku-organizele sicele enye ye-Raptors ne-Toyota Zimbabwe zalapha eSouth Africa.
Like it's too close to even justify,
All right. But I hear you, and but like what I appreciated, one of the things that I appreciated the most, I think people have been saying it the world over, the power dynamics are shifting, all right? And it's very challenging for the United States of America to deal with the fact that whether they like it or not, China has overtaken them as a superpower, and a great thriving and getting to a point of leading conversations, right? At first, for the past so many decades, you couldn't talk without the United States being there. And I think the first G20 in Africa said that narrative is going to change. I think over and above, yes, we are still going to call Minister of Finance, Kotongwana, to tell us how much they spent, how much are we getting back, and Delil to also tell us like how tourism, and the hospitality and all of that we did. We're getting to all of that, but at this point in time, at this juncture, we are celebrating the fact that like we hosted a great event, and over and above it being a great event, it was the experience that was shared by leaders from other countries who stayed on and said, well, we've been told that you guys are busy killing white people, but we don't see any of that happening. We're seeing the Great Five. We're seeing, we're eating biltong. We're going to, I think one of the presidents, I think it was Turkey or the team we just beat now. The guy from Ireland. Yeah. Obeyena kwasakhumzi, ingatyiwa itim yam yerugby but andizuphoswa ngamanqina nokutya kwaRhodes. Thanks, Africa Sebenza, for that one.
I love the guy who can take a beating and just not be a sore loser about it. He was like,
not be a sore loser. It's like,
have a good time.
We are here, and I think like some of the utterances as well from those leaders, finding a place in South Africa to be able to express their views. It was the Turkish Prime Minister, President rather, or Erdogan. I don't know. I'm gonna pronounce it wrong, but he was throwing his weight behind. He was saying that like he allowed South Africa for throwing their weight behind, Palestine. These are topical issues that should be discussed, and they got to a point where they say in the like, okay, Trump is not here. We might as well. Thank you, South Africa, for taking them to the ICJ. And of course, I think one of my greatest moments out of this whole thing, it was this guy. It was a good thing, you got off the ANC Youth League nonsense, and he focused, went back to school, studied, and now is a minister, and a young person who you can tell is being groomed by other leaders. I think he was very phenomenal. Ronald Lamola, you deserve one of these, my guy.
Yes. Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I must say, I was also very impressed with how Ronald Lamola was just, showcasing South Africa as well, and ministry yake. And you can almost see the confidence, right, in him as a minister. And he really just, like, I felt like he rose to the occasion because it was a time where he needed to be vocal. He needed to, represent South Africa, and he did a stellar job at that. I think, again, like you said, Slyso, just representing young people and giving hope to young people. But okay, so we have leaders who are clued up, actually,
right,
who can speak and make sense, when it is time to actually, like, stand up for your country and represent us well, and don't make a fool of our country. And he did.
Yeah, and that boyish look of his ngathi uvela usenga kodwa enganikwanga mvume okanye ubeyoqhubha edamini ungakhange ngithola uhleli nje usmilile, and he always has some happy stuff to say.
He just reminds me of like that rural boy type of thing, man. Like, just like
uvelaphi kutheni edamini.
I love it.
Quite good one, my guy. But I think on the front and on the work front, what I really appreciated was how DIRCO in South Africa has been able to manage the different narratives. And actually, when they say that, like, we've had the presidency for a year, and in us having the presidency for a year, we've been having these different conversations with the different leaders. That is why the declaration was made. Like, first day they come here, boom, hey, declaration, okay, sharp. Because they've had, I think, over 132 meetings with different heads of states and agreeing on certain things. And we probably will be seeing what's going to come out of that. And I know that people like Germany, the representative, I don't know, they have this thing, like they talking loans. We need to afford loans to Africa. As Germany, we stand behind African countries. And I think there is some form of package, like a loan package that is being worked on. And as Germany, obviously in the automotive space, they kind of like defeated by the Chinese. But now I guess it's them looking for other means of being part of these African countries to an extent. I'll say South Africa, where they are looking for other means of making sure that they keep the relationships, that they keep the legacies and all of that. So I think as much as he was a tiny bit condescending with his, in terms of like, we almost want to still capture Africa, but he was quite positive about it. And as I was saying, DIRCO doing the most, saying that our case against Israel stands, saying that we are not going to be dictated to, we are going to negotiate with China. US, we know that you have beef with Canada, we are going to speak to Canada, Brazil, and all of these other countries, India, and, because Trump has this thing, like, I've just spoken to the president of India and we have signed a deal that nobody can match and everything, and the tariffs, we're going to lower them and like thingy. But India on the other side is thinking, can they do without South Africa? As small as we are a country, and I think the G20 showed us that. And him, ebambela hamile inhle phayana ihonjisiweyo, esithi, I declare this summit closed. Wabe esithula mola ecaleni, if United States of America, as it should, come and get a presidency, as we need to forward a lot of things so that they become the next the G20 presidents, let alone that there are some stuff that are going to be held not at Nasrec like we did in all the other places. It's going to be a Hawaii, where Donald Trump has a resort. So he wants all the leaders to go there. And he was quizzed about this, and he was saying, no, I am not making money from it. And he knows he's lying, because if you're going to be hosting an event of that magnitude, there obviously is money, let alone the fact that, like, they're going to be advertising your private resort for decades. Anyway, we leave politics alone. We leave politics
Yeah.
alone and we move on. We say, South Africa, you've done well. One thing that I picked up and that I hope that we really look into as South Africa, because somebody decided, oh, okay, it's the South African Broadcasting Corporation, mother company, G20. If you look there, they say that South Africa has the highest unemployment rate among the G20 members. So I would like to believe that those are some of the things that were spoken on, that like that narrative needs to change. We can't be friends with such people and cutting deals with these people while we sit with such a high, with such high employment numbers. So that's that. As far as the G20
what is for me, I always like to find out what are the outcomes of a summit like this. You know, what is the takeaway home? What is now the expectation in terms of implementation for each country? You know, it would be nice to also have perhaps again, just a little bit of unpacking from our ministers in terms of their respective ministries, take away from the G20, what should they be doing different, you know, for us. So I think a lot of people were asking, I'm just thinking about just the masses, South Africans, about, you know, this G20, what does it mean? I think our government needs to start to actually be able to package, you know, summit as well,
a
in a
summary
way that
takeaway from
ordinary South Africans can understand what is the purpose and, you know, the benefit of them. What are the learnings for us? You know, it's very important so that people don't feel like another thing happened and there's no benefit.
I think that's what we always expect. I mean, like there are so many different summits and so many I'm going to say gatherings of leaders looking at different things. One would look at the environment. One would look at, you know, like I think we had the Interpol just the other day where we look at, you know, where countries get together, and it's not necessarily looking, the fact that it is hosted in South Africa, it doesn't mean that like they're going to be spin-offs right now, but like it's looking not only at South Africa, but like the entire globe. You know, we're saying we're talking renewable energy. Who has the technology? Who has the skills? How can we get those skills? So I think for us as South Africans, it's kind of challenging in that sense, because we are saying, okay, the summit is gone now. Where are the jobs? You know, and I think I watched one just lastly insert with the Minister of Finance, Ukotongwana, talking about the railway systems that goes, I think, from the Congo down to South Africa, saying that before it was managed by each country. So if a country doesn't take care, if indlela idlula kwa Abu is not taking care of Indlu now, that entire system, that entire value chain suffers. But now they are looking into how do we make sure that one person or entity is responsible for making sure that that pathway, you know, from the store to your house is things. So I think it's more on that rather than focusing on one country. But obviously, people like Patricia Delil, tourism, she's probably smiling. She's reached her targets and all of that because tourism was uber crazy, you know. So but I hear you. There should be a point where each minister can say around health, this is what we have managed to get from it. You know, and all of that.
At least the discussion that came about, because like you said, that there's so many discussions that were taking place. I know, you know, environmental discussions that were taking place across the summit. So what is it that our country is learning from other countries, like, you know, that so that we can actually develop ourselves? What do we need to do differently so that we are on par, you know? So I think we need to have that understanding, you know. You know, in terms of, for example, technology, how behind are we? You know, what are we needing to do? Entrepreneurship skills, what do we need to do? Those things, I think, are things that the conversation mustn't end now that the summit has ended. We need to, how do we keep momentum and how do we keep having those conversations now, you know, by ourselves and keep the energy. Yeah.
Yeah. I think what we're going to do, as much as we planned, we had cue sheets and all kinds of things in terms of what we're going to do. We are going to head over to Abu to afford us the review. And crazy
Yeah.
enough, I didn't know about this until she started speaking about it. There's a movie called G20, partly short. Okay, yeah, I'm tapping into her territory right now. So we will allow her to give us the film review as the busybody that she is, so that we can let go. After the review, we will definitely go to our guests who've been patiently waiting, and we appreciate that as well. But for now, it's time for us to check out what AB has for
Yep.
us. And as far as the movie the review is concerned, and without wasting time, we go chill in the we go chill here and let AB have thing.
Let me have the floor. You gonna give me the whole floor?
The whole floor is
Mm-hmm.
yours, bro.
Oh my gosh. Well, he already introduced it. But it's a film called G20, ironically enough. I was scrolling through Amazon Prime. Well, I was actually scrolling through all the streaming services because I was like, what can I find that feels relevant to what people, might want to be tapping into and watching over the next few, days or so. And then I was on Amazon Prime and I found this film called G20. And I was like,
Okay.
no way. And then I saw it was filmed in South Africa. I said, no way. And then I watched the film, and it's about the G20 being hosted in South Africa, which is just like the most ironic series of events that could ever happen. Um, and yeah, the movie is an action movie, which action movies are always nice. South Africans love action movies. I mean, you know how it is. And it follows Viola Davis and her family. In the story, Viola Davis is the president of the United States. And, she comes down with her family for the G20 summit. And her family are going through a little bit of turmoil. They're going through a little, internal battles of their own. Um, and what happens is they arrive at the G20 and all the presidents are here and congregated. And someone who is on the inside with the American government has actually decided to hijack the entire event and hold them hostage in order to, make some money off of ransom because he has all of the most powerful people in one room. I mean, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah,
um,
okay, well,
and what's very cool about the film is that Viola Davis's character is ex-military, so she also kind of uses her ex-military skills to try and sort of get the G20 back, and that's the story that the film follows. And it's very action packed. It's very well shot. The acting is impeccable. I mean, they have some very crazy names. They have Anthony Starr, who is one of the very notable characters from the Amazon show The Boys, which The Boys is such a critically acclaimed show that has, is now, I think it's in its fifth season. So everyone loves The Boys. And so I think seeing him in this villain role is going to have everybody hooked and had everybody hooked based on the reviews that I saw. Um, and then obviously, and Anthony Anderson and Viola Davis, stunning performances, and short but impactful performances that I think stood out to me anyway were by Nokolo Dlamini and Theo Bongani, who were, I think, the two sort of more notable South African talents on the cast. And they just, I mean, every time they were on screen, they stole the show, which is so incredible to see, when they're around such an incredibly star-studded cast. So that just goes to show the South African talent that we have is like, I mean, it's world class, right? Um, and so yeah, I mean, overall, I would rate the film an 8 out of 10 because it just catches your attention and the pacing does not disappoint. I mean, truly. And I think that the points that lost me are so small that most people who watch it, I think, would walk out saying it's a 10 out of 10. So that's my review for the week on G20.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And I thought that was phenomenal.
Mm.
I
Thanks.
haven't watched it, but looking at the cast and the fact that these networks are able to get some of the best actors and sort of say that we've got Hollywood, we can be Hollywood, which adds weight, and the fact that it is shot here and in the what do you call it, the trailer. I saw a few South Africans and actually not just South African is that guy that died there. They actually have a role. They actually have a script.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, even
Yeah,
in the credits, it's cool. You when you read I mean, people won't read the credits, but I do. But
you have to.
the entire team was South African in terms of camera and makeup and costume
Nice.
and everything. All South
Yeah.
Africans, and I was like, come on, come on. Even the editing team, which crazy,
Probably
crazy,
getting
crazy.
paid in dollars too.
Ooh. Yeah.
Getting the chillet, getting the
Yeah.
randalas.
Before we head over and we say thank you to AB, aka Abu. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna mention it was Azizul Bizala Kamal Bizal Olit. We're gonna go check out the preview. The preview. What do they call it? Trailer.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Madam President, we have a situation. Ma'am, apprehension is minutes away.
A little much, don't you think, Mom?
Zip it. You and your brother are coming to Cape Town with us.
Why?
You know why.
All you ever care about is work.
I implore all world leaders to join me at the G20 summit.
Come on, Madam President.
Oh, damn. Now I gotta go save the world.
The 20 most powerful world leaders together. Going dark in 3, 2, 1. To the governments watching, I've taken the G20 by force. When we launch Project Deepfake, we will reset the world's financial markets. You gotta read the words exactly as written. Quick beige fox. Quick beige fox. Quick beige fox. Now we control the narrative.
My husband and kids are missing. We have to find them. If you want to live, you'll follow my lead.
Now you're Captain America. That was quite, well done.
They've got at least 5 hostages in the kitchen.
Your survival is what matters most.
I will not leave them.
Drop it!
President Danielle Sutton. You get around, don't you?
I'll get around to you, too.
Mom, I can help.
Lights out.
Find her.
Where are my husband and kids?
We're all here together.
I'm gonna get you out of here.
What if we get you into a comfortable pair of heels, hmm?
Do you want an honest answer?
Oh yeah. That's what's up.
Viola is such a cool lead woman. I just love her sense of humor. She's very funny.
Right?
The way she balances comedy and drama is just so crazy. I love her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is it. And we say thank you very much, AB. We look forward to another one. Super fitting. We
Thank you,
never
AB.
thought about it. And we'll definitely seeing each other next weekend, next Monday.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. The Queen, you're hanging out. I'm not letting you go. whether you like it or not.
Okay. I'll post
Head
it.
over, head over to our guests in the house, in the building. How do you think I'm going to welcome guests without? And I've checked out. As we had said, we've got Duma Sandile. If you watch the promo, as a seasoned sales executive specializing in content licensing and all kinds of things, and he is right here to make sure that he affords us a little bit more. There's a couple of things I want to find out about him. Nceba. I was just about I was just about to say, did this guy not tell you? We might not have the face for TV, but we are here.
Yeah.
How are you, my good gent?
I'm well, man. How are you doing?
All right. I don't know if you are able to just up the your microphone on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it better?
It's a tiny bit, but yeah. But yeah, that's who we are having a conversation with. Duma Sandile Mboni, seasoned sales executive, specializing in content licensing and business and all kinds of things. And by the way, he didn't start in this space. That's one of the first questions I want to ask. You were in finance, you were banking, you were doing all kinds of fancy things, but the bug bit. And you ended up with the South African Broadcasting Corporation. I think, what was it, 2008? I think it was.
Yes, 2008.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What got you interested into this specialized skill of I would say curating content licensing and rights?
Okay. Basically, I started off. The department they were starting the department to mostly for revenue generation. So I was roped in to start the division, because if you look at it, you had content. There's a lot of content at SABC that is there, but it was not being monetized. So I came in and we started the division and we started monetizing that and just creating revenue. And it's been doing very well since then.
All right. That's the corporate side of things. And I'd like to believe that you are joining the festival
Yes.
this time around to make sure that you are speaking to filmmakers, you are speaking to people who actually are responsible for creating this product that the SABC or any other network must exploit. When did that journey come around? Because obviously you probably were doing well, talking to the networks, but now to actually get to a point where you arm filmmakers, actors, and all of these people with the knowledge of how probably to look at themselves as brands, how to position themselves.
Yeah, okay. It started last year when I was part of the panel in the Joburg Film Festival. So that's where I saw that there's a lot of misinformation when it comes to the licensing and the content that people need to license. So what I want to go and explain is that, first of all, content is not free. You have to license it, you have to pay, and you cannot just take someone else's content and put it on your YouTube channel. For example, I see a lot of people are putting SABC News on their own YouTube channel. So you need to license that, and you need to make sure that your payment is received by the actual content creator. So he's the one who owns the content. And if you want to license it, first of all, we look at three things. The territory that you want to put it on. Is it going to be local? Is it going to be on an international platform? You look at the type of the rights. The rights, it's going to be on TV, it's going to be on Netflix or Showmax, as well as maybe on your YouTube. So there's different prices for each platform that you're gonna put the content on. So we try and assist you accordingly. And then the period. So if you take content and you license the content from us, it doesn't belong to you after a certain period. So you say for 5 years, you're licensed for 10 years. After that period, then you have to stop using it totally. So those are the three main important areas of content.
That's very interesting. I think that dawned on me when we were trying to do a documentary and we had to go to the National Film Library here in Pretoria. And actually, you find out like, sifuna footage at the time, but no. The British Broadcasting Corporation owns it. You need to get rights and a period in which you can exploit it, and such. And the fact that like even on the podcast, we have to give credit to the people that creatives license. You can't just put out a picture without crediting the photographer or the media house from which it comes from. So I think these are going to be quite valuable for those people who are filmmakers who are going to be at the 10th Eastern Cape Film Festival. Quinn, I don't know if you have any questions around anything that has to do with filming, because I wanna find out what just a bit more where we are sitting in South Africa in terms of the different platforms that we have. As Uthuma has just said, if you want to use it on your social media platform, if you want to use it on, you have to get rights from the people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think, we
So,
see
Quinn, I
this
don't know.
conversation, a lot of people complaining about the reuse of their content, right? And people not actually getting the permission to reuse the content. I think it's because there's still a lot of lack of education, the license aspect of content, because a lot of people obviously sometimes start creating content from a point of interest without thinking about the monetization of it. And then obviously if you're moving into actually content creation for commercial value, right? You need to educate yourself around how do you like to protect your content so that it doesn't get exploited. So I think these conversations are conversations that we have. So,
Okay.
so that people can understand a bit about different platforms where you also need to understand for VC content, versus what are the ins and outs of those platforms. You need to know as a content creator. And of course, I guess it's also different because you've got content creators who are not necessarily filmmakers. I think it's also very important to categorize it, right? But where are you in terms of content creation and what do you need to know? So upskilling yourself, and definitely I think it's something that South Africans need to do for themselves.
Okay, one thing I'm definitely going to do is I'm gonna blow the horn if you heard all of that, Duma, because I wanted to make a request to all of us that if you are not speaking, then maybe you can just mute your microphone so that we don't have the feedback. That's probably why you were struggling a bit to hear. But I'm not sure whether you heard the entire question. A question from Utot.
Yes, no, I did, yeah.
Okay, cool. So while the other person is talking, then we can just mute our individual microphones. I'll let you answer that.
Yeah, no. I think it's quite important that we educate the people around the use of, first of all, of content, and also what belongs to who. I mean, we've got a lot of people who have those yesteryears soccer games. They put it on their YouTube channels, and then some of them are even selling it. So our objective is to actually try and educate the people that you are not allowed to sell or put a content here and reproduce it as your own. Like, you cannot take content as SABC and reproduce it as your own. So you need to be able to find out how and where, who the content belongs to. I mean, in South Africa, a lot of people just do that, and unfortunately, we don't have means to check everybody. Unfortunately, and even if we check you, we don't have the mechanism to take you all the way to court and all those things. But it's just a matter of giving warning that you cannot take content and represent it as your own. And at the same time, there are ways to find out who the content belongs to. And once you are able to find out from us, then we are able to license, basically, because otherwise the content, we don't sell it, we license it. So it's only for a certain period, and after that period, it's back to being SABC's. And I mean, from the content, from if you look at an example of the content of Nelson Mandela walking out of prison, a lot of people take that and do certain whatever they want to make videos using that content, and it's quite expensive. Mandela content is the most expensive that we put out there. So it's critical that you find out how content is exercised and used and licensed, and then we can maybe start talking from there. But there is definitely a fee that you have to pay when you're going to take someone's content and put it across as yours.
Well, very interesting. We have a lot of guests, and mine would be just to end off, because we obviously see each other at the festival, and we will spend more time because we'll be broadcasting from there. So whatever comes up, we'll be able to can it in an interview for our viewers, because we'll be doing it live anyway. Just your promise, or how would you say the people who are attending can prepare themselves for your session? You know, like maybe key things that they should be on the lookout for, except the secret weapon.
Look, I'm looking mostly on a Q&A. I know a lot of people don't know any or how this thing works, so I'm willing to listen and answer. So it's mostly going to be a Q&A kind of a platform, and I'll be sharing the prices and how one can go ahead and get content from the SABC. So that's basically what I'm going to be doing. Any questions anyone might have, I'm prepared to answer all those.
I get you. Any last questions?
Good. All good.
All right. Mboni, masibulele kakhulu ngexesha lakho. We're definitely seeing you between the 1st and the 6th of December at Eastern Cape Film Festival. Thank you so much.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, guys.
All right, my brother. Thank you so much. There you have it, man. I told you we've got so many guests today. We still have, I think, one of the ones. I'm not saying I'm not crazy about the next conversation we are going to have, because we are talking to people who are from different spheres. When Queen. Duma comes from the SABC. How do you exploit? How do you license? We've got Unathi Platyi, whom we know from, the Kings of Queenstown. We know him from Heist, Dreamworld, and all of this. So just giving you a bit of a picture of what to expect in East London between the 1st and the 6th of December at the 10th Eastern Cape Film Festival. Last week, we spoke to a festival director from Tanzania, to find out about Zanzibar and how they do things. So out here, Sivisanje, it tastes, we just want you to have a taste. Right now, it's time for us to go check out Unathi. Okay. And obviously after that, I want to end off with this one. It's a very beautiful one that I look forward to. Ian Jonkers, who is a producer and director. We're going to speak to him after we've spoken to Unathi. Unathi, we know him, as I've said, I mean, like from so many spaces or movies, or what do they call it? That was a blockbuster. Can we call it a blockbuster, Uns? We should, according to our standards, bro. The Kings of Queenstown was a damn blockbuster.
Yeah, it was a big one.
Man, let's welcome you this evening. And of course, thank you so much for your patience.
Thank you so much, guys, for inviting me on your space.
Yeah, man. Look, I know that you went to the Dorothy Ann Gold Acting School, but before you did all of that, before you got your first role, you went for all of this. There was a time that the bug bit, and you were saying in the banner, like, you know what, this film thing, I think it's my ish. When was that? At what point in your life?
I was doing boxing then because I'm from East London, Tanzania. So I was doing boxing. I was like, and then I was doing boxing on and modeling.
Okay.
Yeah, I was doing boxing and modeling, and then I didn't like the part where we have to walk around with the underwears modeling. I was like, this one is not for each hand.
Can I finally say
So I had to find something closer to like that modeling thing, and I was too big also. Like, no man, you can't be a model if you're that big. I was so, and then I went to on the acting side.
And when
So
when
it
was the
was my
first? Like, if you remember, was it a
my
stage
first
play in church? Like your first role, like the first time you were like, I can actually
first one was Stingo actually.
for
My
real.
first one, yeah, was Stingo.
Okay, you be
That's
chopping
when
this
I was
money.
like, yeah. Besides acting in school, yeah, like East London, when you crash, like yeah, that thing, like those guys
Yeah.
in Takam Shop, yeah. Besides
Oh
that,
yeah, Buena.
I think we all did that, like in Takam Shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, more yoga, yeah. No, besides that,
So it started in church for you. What was the one thing coming from your background? Anyone who comes from Ekasi, there's always this level of either imposter syndrome or inferiority complex when getting into these stages. When now you move from Inhlakamhlope to Isidingo, your first. What is that thing that motivated you, or a person you were looking up to that you were like, you know what? If he can do it, I can.
I think what always motivates me is the where I come from, Tanzania. You understand, and seeing everything that was happening, especially in our times, there was a lot happening there that was not nice. So you were like, ish, you want to do whatever you can to move away from this life. So if you go away and you are in Joburg and you're doing the best that you can, to make sure you don't go back and be part of those things that were wrong that we were doing growing up. So that life motivated me to not go back there.
And obviously, I mean, like I looked at your social media platforms when I was like doing research and stuff. You still in the hood a lot. You still in touch. Are there programs or activity that you are involved with to make sure in Dokbana, like the next Unathi doesn't is also as wise as in not falling into whatever is out there, because we're talking things like crime, which is far rife than it used to be back in the day. Kuba kudala
Mhm.
weekends alihlala phaa okanye intoni now
Yeah.
namaphara ngintwana engakena 12 ukaqhomisa ukuthi sa.
Yes, yeah. Look, there are things that I'm doing that side in Eastern Cape. We do all over Eastern Cape. I don't only do East London. I do all over Eastern Cape. So we do acting workshops. Yeah, with some Namachi, the actors that are coming from around Eastern Cape. So we do acting workshops and we try to give away the information to the people that are in this Eastern Cape, because in my time we didn't have anyone that would go and say, look, this is a skill, this is it. Yeah, well, you can try this like this. Yeah, well, so we didn't have that. So at least in our scale, whatever we're learning from this side, we take it back to the Eastern Cape, because ultimately we want to stay and work in the Eastern Cape. That's what we want to do. We don't want to be here forever. We want to go back home and relax and be able to have an industry. that is working, like Durban is doing now.
Yes, sir.
Mm.
Yes, sir. Well, we can only cross fingers and be part of such a movement, because even in the music, space, you're like, why are
Yes.
they excelling? What is missing? What are we not doing right? As the Eastern Cape, to find people
Yes.
like you who are there. I have to do that. I have to do that. And obviously I would like to believe that there's certain avenues or entities within government, they are actually trying to babeke indlebe ngoku, bamamele into yokubana, like, what are these guys saying, because there's nothing far more disheartening, even in music festivals, when you find out like this beautiful mega thing that was put together that we enjoyed in the Eastern Cape was actually done, and the money went to people that come from other provinces, while we have people that have these skills, but they like, we're not going back to the Eastern Cape because it's not like we're gonna get support. So I can only cross my fingers and hope and pray and pledge that call me next time.
Hey, I think they need to try harder. I don't feel like they need to try very, very hard. We've been begging them for years now.
Pondwin,
Yes, yes.
we do like women, but placards. We go sleep.
I think, I think so. Like seriously, I even
Yeah.
said sometimes. Look, I think we need to like collect all the artists from Eastern Cape and that are here from Joburg and Eastern Cape, and then we go sit down with the premier.
Mm.
I think that's what we need. Like, collect everyone, you go sit down with him and say, look, we're crying. We don't have anything yet.
Yeah.
And we are the only province that has nothing and with a lot of talent.
So much talent. Somebody was saying, like, specifically about PE, where I come from, right? Because I was like, what is this thing about PE? PE is just like a Detroit, Motor City, factory, and all of that stuff. But they always say, like, and I found that about Tanzania when I started working for CKI. There's an essence, there's a fiber, there are certain stories that even if you were a script writer or a researcher, you would not be privy to without you having lived there to have
Yes.
had an experience. And those people are roaming the rest of the world and sharing those stories with Suka from another province, who takes that, because you don't even know how to script. You don't, or you get paid for it, or you get paid for that, and all of these things. So once again, it's me saying that, like, I think it's about time that this movement that you started, where you go around the Eastern Cape, you call on other artists to say in the band, like, actually, the people who are in the golden economy now need to go and meet up with the powers that be. Because when you sit, Kotongwana is counting over 1 billion that comes from the golden economy, and yet actors, musicians, promoters, sound people are not seeing that money. It's in other provinces, and yet we are here. Sir, I don't want to take all the right. The next thing was like, we canceled that podcast. But that's what we are here for, so that we can be honest about these conversations. Lastly, because it's a long show and we also have Ian as well that we need to get to. What do you promise someone who's going to be at the 10th Eastern Cape Film Festival between the 1st and the 6th of December?
I promise them that they will live with something. Yeah, they will live. They will surely will live with something, and they will use that thing. We'll make sure that they use whatever they live with.
Appreciate that. And obviously, when I'm there, we'll be able to tap deeper into you and your acting, and you as a brand as well, because those things are very important. We come across actors who would be, why vele ku Ntonto ngoko, we never saw him again. Udibana naye kasi. How like to believe that we have a far more different generation of driven people in the arts, and you are one of those examples. So we definitely are going to have more sit downs when I'm down there in East London. Queen, I don't know whether you have a question for Unathi.
You know what? I think it's the appreciation. I love the giving back in terms of upskilling young people. I love that, because you have a lot of young people that dream, but they don't know where to start. And I think I saw up on TikTok some of these guys Unathi talking about going and just doing a workshop around, how do you, nurture your craft as a young person? How do you identify? But now you have the skill to act, but you just don't know. I think we need to also just expand a little bit, because a lot of young people think you can only be an actor. What else can you do in the entertainment industry and be successful? We need to also educate young people. So I love that. Of course, we start somewhere, but let's expand it. Let's talk about how do we see acting and entertainment as a business model, not just the face, in front of a television and that's it. How do you make sure that you can also transition from one position to another within the same industry? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Uns.
Thank you so much, Unathi.
Thank you so much.
From the 1st of December.
Next week, yes, first
It's next
this
week.
Sunday.
Next week.
Next week,
yeah. All right, man. Thank you so much.
I'm getting excited. Just those interviews, I want to check it out before I go to Cape Town. I'll definitely first and second, I must check it out to this film festival. Slyso. Please.
Yeah, thank you, my bro.
Thank you so much, guys.
All right, brother. Oh man, it's been a long one. We say thank you so much, man, to us for that. Queen, we have to move very fast, and I know that Ian has been waiting for quite some time, and he will forgive me, bro.
How's it, guys?
Bro, you're just gonna have to forgive me, okay?
Hey, I've been patiently waiting.
We are very sorry.
We are very sorry, bro.
It's fine. It was very interesting conversations to listen to, and it was very important ones to have as well.
Yeah, and we figured, like, when I came across oh man, the movie I'm not in the film space, right? But I've always been a supporter, the person who gets behind, like I would say underdogs, people that actually make a difference, in I don't want to say behind the scenes, but like people who have a vision. We are sitting here now, we are saying it is the 10th Eastern Cape Film Festival, and it brings people that come from as far as Europe. It brings people that come as far as Zanzibar, Lesotho, and all of these places. And right on our doorstep, when Nceba and I had a conversation, and he was saying that, like, there's this movie that you have to watch. That has a lot. That says a lot about South Africa. We might sit in different corners of the world and say, like now we were saying, government is not taking care of us. Government is not not doing that. The cry is loud, but to find that, like, there is a COI, a formation that actually has been doing work. And great work. I don't know whether I want to find out about you first when the bug bit, or I want to find out about the phenomenal. And I know I come from a radio background. I talk a lot. So I come from the radio background, and I remember it was one of the celebrations that we did with Umhlobo and we had gone to Kimberley. I think it was their 45th birthday. And I think it was the same time that the first COI radio station, I think just outside Kimberley. We went, it was launching. Sorry?
In Platfontein.
Is it just outside Kimberley, right?
Yes.
I remember
15, 16 Ks outside Kimberley.
Yes, I remember we drove there and learning that there's a particular people. There are particular people who have not been catered for in the 45 years that that Umhlobo has been celebrating. The Zulu speaking nation, the Xhosa speaking nation, the English, and all of this. And it was the 45th, I will think, of the year when it was started. But for you guys to dream as big as film. I will come back and to your background, but that's what's fascinating for me. Like what the hell? Like where, like out of where, who was saying we need to tell our stories, we need audio, we need visuals.
And especially in Platfontein, the interesting part about it is that there's two different tribes in one little small village that speak their indigenous languages as their first languages. That's why the radio station that you're talking about broadcasts in those two languages. And for the most part, most people don't even know about those two languages, or those people exist in that small piece of the Northern Cape. Even the SASDO chairperson said that even when they go to Kimberley, if they speak their language, then people will know, hey, these people are not from here. They must be from
Right?
So, in a small vicinity where you are 15 k's from your nearest town, and even they don't really mix with those people. It was very interesting for me, and doing research and going to all these places, I learned more and I discovered things that I didn't even know, conversations that were had that were never recorded or you can't find in history books or in news or anything. So for me, it was a spiritual journey as well, listening to these people, finding out this information. It was soul deep as well, because the pain that these people are sitting with, not being recognized or being even assisted by the government, hits them real deep, because the languages are dying. The youth doesn't want to carry on with the languages. They would rather speak Afrikaans or something that's more popular instead
And
of.
it comes from them being excluded, probably not because they're not proud of their language. It's like, how do we relate if we don't speak the, Afrikaans or any other language? Then we're not going to be accepted. We're not going to have jobs. I get you.
Exactly, and that's why they're trying to revive it, and they want the government to get involved, because the one saddest thing that the guy told me was, example, if they go to the hospital and now you're speaking a language that no one understands, you might be sick and now you're trying to convey what is wrong with you, but they don't understand you, which could lead to a fatal decision that gets made, like, oh no, go back home, you're not that sick. But if they could understand you, they could better assist you to help you in whichever way that you actually need help.
That's insane. Like I'm glad, like, this happened so long ago and it fascinated me just as much. And even driving into, like, I still in my head, driving into that area, it felt like a camp, like like it felt like not a town, but like a campsite that's been reserved for these people to exist and do their own thing, and to find that, I know I'm all over the place. It's Ian Jonkers. He's the producer and director of a very phenomenal film that is I haven't watched and it's blowing my mind. And
It's a very
like
interesting
when
watch.
like the production, like like the story, right? Coming together, because obviously before you can do filmmaking and all of these things and you be called a producer and all of that, you need to have honed your skills elsewhere, and then you bring them home, just like the conversation we just had with Unathi, where he says, Ndabana, like, I've done Usdingo, I've done the Kings of Queenstown and all of this, now we are back. Like, what has the journey been like for you as a filmmaker, and gathering everybody to tell a story?
My journey is also very close to Nathi's one. He was a boxer, I was a rugby player. So my film journey hasn't been that long actually. I've always been interested in film, but I never thought that I could do it. It always seemed like something so far fetched. You'd need the best cameras, you need all these fancy things to be able to do these magical things that these people do on TV. But then I was introduced to a friend that went to film school in PE, and then he showed me a little like a video ad he did for Windmill. You know those burgers falling in slow motion and the chip falling in. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. What did you do? How did you do this? Was it 1,000? How many? $1,000,000 camera? How many cameras did you use? And he said, no, I just use one simple camera. And then he showed me how I used different angles, and then the bug bit. And then I started being interested in editing and wanting to put things together, because now I saw, hey, I can also put things together, and I know I've got the eye for it.
Mm.
Then I applied to the NVF Youth Project, and I was accepted for the 2019 Youth Project. So you had to submit a concept, which they would then take out of a pool of, I think, 150 submissions, and then they cut it down to 40 shortlisted, and then they would choose 10 or 15 of the best ones. And I was lucky enough to be in that 15 pool. So then I had to develop the script, go through a script writing workshop, develop the script. And I thought, oh, developing the script is the end and be all. If you're the script writer, then you have the last say of what the film's going to look like. And then my flame got snubbed short. They said, no, you just writing, then the director will take the film and then he'll do what he wants to do with it. And I was like, I was like, damn. So now I need to direct. And then they were like, okay. Once we wrote the films, I was the least experienced, but my film was selected out of the 15 as one of the top 2 or 3. So I was like, hey, if I spoke to the producer. So I asked him if I haven't written before, I didn't have any experience, you guys, and they said because all they saw on my CV was rugby, they had no confidence that I would be able to even write a script. And when I surprised them, I asked, so if I've got the natural talent to write, and it seems to be good in your eyes, would you not give me a chance to then try and direct or do directing workshop and see if I can give it a go at that as well? And they gave me a chance. And from there, I was able to write one short film and directed 2 other short films in the space of 6 months, without having been on any set or any film school.
Wow.
But it looked like I had the natural talent for it. So they allowed me to do it.
Do they live anywhere on the internet where
they screened on SABC during COVID in 2020? So the producer, I think he had a deal with SABC. He had a deal with the SABC, so I think the SABC procured those films, and it lives now in the SABC database. So I've tried to get it for myself to screen it on festivals and things like that, but SABC owns it. So you just had the conversation about the SABC content that you have to pay for. So now I have to pay to get my own films back.
Okay, now
and then you can have it licensed, yeah?
So yeah, then COVID happened, and then what I did was, because I understood that I'm still new in this film industry, I might have natural talent, but I now need to hone the skills to be able to go on to doing feature films and bigger and better things. So I spent the whole time through COVID trying to just almost learning more about script development, directing, sharpening the saw. And then I always had this idea of doing a indigenous documentary kind of thing about cannabis and indigenous herbs and how the indigenous people use it for healing, for medicine, for ceremony. So that was always in the back of my mind of something that I wanted and felt passionate about. So when they call for a documentary languages that they were going to fund, it immediately resonated with me because I knew about a Khoisan essay that was at the Union buildings fighting for the land and language rights and the First Nation status. So even
My
before
man
that,
Martin was there.
yeah. So even just before the call came out, a friend of mine introduced me to the chief that is the main character in our film, and he is a direct descendant of Adam Koch. So he wanted to do a pilgrimage of the Adam Koch journey. Yes, that's him basking in the sunlight.
Wow.
So he wanted to do a pilgrimage about the Adam Koch journey from the Western Cape and the trek that they took to free themselves from colonization and end up in Coxted. So we were going to look at doing something like that, but when the funding call came out from the NAVF, we amalgamated the two together. So I used my idea about, and the documentary's name would have been The First Man of what I want. So we used The First Man and then incorporated his journey and the language elements to create what we created and what you will see on the 1st of December.
The research, man. Obviously, you guys have screened this like in London, everywhere else, the US, and some parts of South Africa. Like I wonder, like what goes into that level of research, right? I mean, like you were on a course just now and you probably were thinking like, I was just making it. I was just, you were just making it. But the passion that goes into it, because when you tell these stories, when you tell a documentary, it's not like some fiction. You actually have to go deep. You have to spend time. You almost have to be like the actor that says if you're going to be playing like a person who sleeps on the streets, you actually have to have that experience. How much work did got into that? And obviously, I'm sure at some point you probably needed motivation, because with projects of this magnitude, you get to a point where you're in some like, yeah, man, I don't know if this thing is ever going to work out. But like like challenges and the triumphs that came out of it when you saw that like now this thing is coming into something.
There were definitely many challenges in the development and research part of the documentary. When we got funded for the documentary, there was a development element, mostly for production. So there wasn't much funding for research and development. So normally with a documentary, the people go beforehand, they pre-interview people, they meet people, they go to these areas. There, for example, there was this a documentary series, the Cuckoo Saga, where one of the ladies, the presenters there, she spent 2 weeks with the Griqua people in a certain town, familiar with the people, the lifestyle, embrace. For me, I was not that lucky. We didn't have the budget. I had to do everything over the phone. I had to speak to people. I had to hunt down people. I had to look for who is important in certain areas, try and get in contact with certain chiefs, certain community members, certain activists, speak to them, see what their standing is in the community, what their standing is on the language elements. I had to do this over and over and over for a good couple of months, almost up until the day, like maybe 2 days before we started shooting the documentary.
Sure.
So it was rough. It took a lot of time, but for me, when I had this vision about doing the First Man documentary, then we had to pivot to the language element. When we pitched for it and I got it, as a first-time documentary maker and first-time feature film, for me it was a sign that I want to do this. And I'm a person, so the same when I was doing the short films, I wrote the first one. I was happy with the first one. I was like, hey, I wrote the short film, my first one ever. I'm good. Then I got to direct one. I'm like, okay, I wrote one, I directed one. I far exceeded my expectations. I am good. Then one of the people dropped out, and then the producer approached me like, hey, this person dropped out. Out of all the people, I would like you to do it. Are you willing? And I was like, hey, I've already got 2 films, but if you're approaching me, and then it was meant for me to do this, so I will take it on and do it fully. And I did it and did it well. So the same thing with this. When I got the funding, I was like, okay, this is what I'm meant to do. Couple of weeks after that, I met a filmmaker that has also did some things in the coin science space, a photographer, and did some content. And I spoke to him about it and asked some advice. Then I was like, hey, this is an important thing that you're doing. I've done work before up to in this magnitude. So to represent the people and all. And I said this, when I got this thing, I knew that I was meant to do it. So that's what I want to do with my whole. So even approaching the people for the interviews and the community members, I relayed that kind of sentiment over to them. And this is what I want to do. I want to use this as a vehicle for the communities to use to fight for the recognition of the language, even if it just helps a little bit to open up and give awareness so that people can get more understanding, put a little bit more pressure on the government so that they can see, hey, these are what these people are struggling with. They're trying to revive the languages, but there's obstacles and things that are in their path that with a little bit of help can be moved out of the way. Maybe some recognition could open up some doors for more opportunities and funding and some support.
Wow, bro! Like I'm fascinated by, Talib Kweli has this line: "If you have a dream, you have to follow it." Right? It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter what it is, and once you find that thing, there's that moment, there's that switch in all of our lives. It doesn't matter what we were doing or which path we had chosen for ourselves, but when a bug hits, and with your whole being that I'm gonna leave nursing, I'm gonna go and be a sangoma, for crying out loud, you know what I mean, whatever it is. And that's the story that I get. And I don't think there are people who are far more influential in life than people who do that, and people who actually move the needle for a generation, who move the needle for young kids, who move the needle for a society. The story that you talk about of these kids that that will struggle when they get to the hospital, because they don't speak the language, where they will forfeit who they are, to become Afrikaans speakers because they are not welcome and stuff like that. That's how I feel and find your work to be important. And I think it was a journey for it to have, around COVID, for you to have those opportunities and how you receive them as well, and for it to have been shown around the world. How was the reception, like, elsewhere, in the US and all the other places that you've screened it at?
It was very well received. Everyone understood the importance of the story that needed to be told. So there was lots of interest and questions afterwards when I did some Q&As as well, of the same kind of questions you're asking me now. Why did you feel this is important? Where did you see the story go? What is the message to the audience and to other crowds? And it was always about awareness and giving people the understanding of what was happening and how brutally the language was actually stripped from these people. And it's a sad, sad story. But through this story, we'll see that will feel the emotions and go through this journey of how the people have struggled and how they are still holding on to the little bits that they have. The South African premiere was in the Kalahari. So the Africa Human Rights Film Festival debuted the film and they screened it in the Kalahari to the community there as their opening film as well. And it was very well received from their side as well, because for them, it's also a film that shows their communities in a different light as well. The youth of the today don't understand and have a grasp of the history of the Khoisan San people. They just understand themselves as colored people, and that's so this also gives them in depth of how the elder people hid the languages from them and how they protected them from pain and suffering.
Oh man. Okay, luister hierso. Ek wil nie nou heel nie, né? No man, because yeah, I have this thing. I'm putting myself there. Like I'm thinking, because it's a suffering that we all went through to an extent through apartheid. You know, there's a book. Who's this lady? Very phenomenal. Oh my gosh, they are reading it in the book reading on SAFM. And just this episode when I was driving to work this morning, she was sharing. She used to work at Woolies in the Western Cape. That was like back in the day. I'm gonna think of a name. I'll even put it in the comments later on. Unolita Fakute. I think the name of the book is called. Oh my gosh. I'll think about it. But anyway, without like she talks about how she was in the Eastern Cape, in the Western Cape, being the first black management person, and knowing the Western Cape, that like it's predominantly colored people who would be given preference in terms of where they work and such. He's probably going to join us just now. Yeah, there he is. He's back. So she tells the story of this lady who is both of them are in management, and then she meets the one, and it's like, I don't be when Zandoni up, like, she speaks in Xhosa, and the other one is like, no, I'm here to see my mom, and it's like, your mom? But most of the ladies, almost all of the ladies that work at these Woolies are colored. Like, so how do you? I was like, who's your mother? And she's like, shh, don't tell anyone, because if they knew in Dogbana she's not colored, she would not be allowed to work, at Woolies at the space. So what you are talking about, like, being denied your identity, for survival, and what this story has done. You see, when I say that I don't want to cry, Ian.
Hey, man, it's just one of those stories.
To have all of these experiences in one day.
It's one of those stories. The deeper you go, the more you feel it, and the more you understand that, hey, there's something bigger going on here, and it's a painful story. One of the questions that I was
man, we look forward to it.
Yeah, one of the questions that I was asked in the Q&As was, do you consider yourself, or the Khoisan San and yourself, as African? And I said 100%, because we are African. It's the stigma that the government and the past governments have put on the colored people, or the Khoisan San people, when they classified them as colored. So now that stigma has rolled over like a broken telephone over generations, and people have accepted themselves as that. So now when you ask someone, hey, are you African? No, I'm colored. They don't know the history. They don't know where it comes from. They just accept what they know right now. So that's where there's a miscommunication between some colored people. If you ask me, oh, African, no, I'm not African, I'm colored. But in the grand scheme of things, we are all African. But the colonial government and apartheid government has designed it in a way to separate us in such manners that
Right.
We have lost our identity completely and think we are something else that they've just named us. So they could have called us donkey or whatever, and after 100 years, you would have called yourself, hey, what are you? No, I'm a donkey.
Yeah.
Because you don't know any better, and you don't know the history, because the history isn't recorded. There's no mention of it. There's no nothing that you can track back unless you have some people that are still passing down the oral history.
Bro, Ian, I'm gonna be with you from the 1st until the 6th, and we're gonna go deeper into this because they're still trying to get like how you put the production together, how you it's not like me putting together like a radio show, a 3-hour radio show. You know who to call, you know who you like thinking, and you're talking about your research, and you get to a point where you finish before you shoot, and so which means you guys haven't done like not so much storyboarding and all kinds of necessities before you go you go into production. I look forward to it, and I think it's only fitting as well that it's going to be the first production to be shown on the opening night of the 10th Eastern Cape Film Festival. There is also the Griqua Eastern Cape production that we still need to have a conversation about, and a whole lot more, because this is important. And I think if this podcast is not going to make the difference, the festival has to make a difference to say to government that here are a people who are using different means to tell their story, to preserve their story, where we are all about ownership, instead of this being exploited. And that's one of the things that I'm happy about, that you were able to take it outside South Africa, instead of people who will do some little research and come back and say, we're coming to shoot, we need a production people, where you don't get to reap from your own story and your identity. Bro, I talk a lot, and that's what I do when I'm blown away. And I want to say thank you so much for joining us this evening. I look forward to that film and a whole lot more conversations.
No, there's definitely a lot more to be said because even the journey alone, but just getting back to the production, I'm a very thorough person as well. So even though I had to do things until the last minute, speaking to people and doing research, the planning the trip, the route, the everything else everything was being done simultaneously to get everything to converge at one point, where when we do shoot, we've set a date. When we do shoot, even though we don't have the people in place, we know where we want to go. We've planned the route, we've planned everything else. It's a documentary after all, so some things are certain unknowns that you have to deal with, and that's what you'll face when you get there. So I was open-minded in that regard. Wow. Just go there with an open mind. If you don't get someone, you might get someone else. Also led by spirit, maybe something will come up that's even better than what you expected, and that's what you'll go with.
Oh man. Dude, you're getting me all emotional on a Monday. I still have an entire week to go through, but it's all happy. That is the beauty. We are in the creative space. We do what we feel is our purpose, without complaining much, without reaping the rewards, but for things to converge, using your words, where they are right now. It is the start of something. Somebody said from year 1 until year 10, this is what I'm about. It's the Eastern Cape Film Festival, and things have happened throughout, and something else will be born out of this. And I can only wish you the best until I see you on the 1st of December, where I will sit right next to you so you can explain to me, what were you doing here? Like, what time?
Hey, if you just knew all the challenges, hey, it's a story for a whole nother day.
Yeah, we still haven't finished the one about rugby either.
Hey, there's so much.
Oh man, Queen,
Thank
I
you
don't know if
very
you
much
have
for
any.
having me, guys.
Toto, I don't know if you have any comments or questions maybe for Ian before we let him go.
I mean, I don't have questions. I'm just blown away, and I think you just spark a curiosity. I love stories. I've always loved, listening to our stories, and it's so beautiful when our stories are told by our people. The custodians of the stories, because then there's no tweaking that is done. They are raw. They are told as honest and and as truthful as they should be. So I'm just curious to actually just go see the documentary and actually learn and learn a bit more. And it just speaks to, for me, it speaks to issues of identity, belonging, and and community, the psychology around the exclusion. There's so many themes that are coming up that I'm just like, oh my God, we need to actually see this. We need to make a big deal about the fact that we have such documentaries that are coming to the Eastern Cape Film Festival. It's an exciting moment for me as a person who is a viewer and just likes to follow our stories and our histories.
Wow.
Thank you very much. And the main things was to create awareness and to spark interest. So even the trailer sparks a little bit of interest for you to want to know more. The film dives more into detail, but even when you watch the film completely, then you also want to know more, because it goes in depth, but there's more that you want to know about each different area and each different community. So we'll see what the future holds. Maybe there can be a part 2 that goes a bit deeper and deeper for understanding.
Hey man, Ian, thank you so much, brother. We appreciate you. And ours is to loud and to share and to educate and to entertain. And there could be no better product than what we have, that we will cut and share with everybody to create awareness, even to a point where we actually get to retrace the journey that you walked, so that it's documented. So thank you so much, my brother. Appreciate you.
A pleasure, guys. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, man. Thank you, brother. Oh, man. There you go, Quinn. This is probably the longest episode we have, because we still have the organizer of the event, to join us as well. And we still need to talk about, we still need to share about the walk, the protest, so it's gonna be long. Okay, so if you're a viewer, deal with it. We've got information. We're out here to entertain you. We're out here to inform you. Okay. It will live on the internet for the longest time. Ian, thank you so much, my brother. We move on and come and check out this guy called Ngleba. I don't know where Ngleba is. Ngleba is probably like Ngleba. Ngleba is probably going to sleep. But anyway, we will definitely speak to him and have the cuts. In the meantime, I think we need to go over. We need to go over this. Enough is enough. Genoeg is genoeg. The ladies went all around and said, guys, listen. This is who we are. This is what we are about. There's gonna be no G20. Right?
Listen. I don't want to say a lot actually about this. I think the message was loud and clear.
Yeah.
The president has done what we have been asking him to do, to declare GBV and femicide a national disaster. And I think people don't understand these classifications, the importance of them, because they are quite important. When it was declared a pandemic, it was important at that time because it was recognizing that, hey, this thing is not normal, and we cannot just sideline it and pretend that it's not happening. So again, it being declared in
why am I?
again, it's just the top of agenda. So I think we can just say to all the organizations that backed up Women for Change, of course, championing this. Well done, and we are hoping that this now will mean that gender-based violence and femicide is really at the top of the priority list as far as what government is trying to deal with in South Africa, come up with solutions. Let's bring about real change when it comes to the issue of GBV. And it's I think the message was also to say it is a threat to our economy, to have women being killed and and young girls and boys also, because we talk about men on men violence also when we talk about GBV. Violence is a threat to our economy. We cannot just pretend as if it doesn't have a direct impact. When you have a woman who is a breadwinner, Slyso, being killed, what does that mean for that family? What does it mean for a community when you have an activist who is killed because it's speaking up and is helping victims? So this is a very, very important milestone, and I think we should be proud of ourselves. And of course, we are happy that the government is acknowledging that there's still a lot of work that needs to be done to make sure that we end this.
Look, whether it was him being put under pressure to say that, because as South Africans we like debating things. No, he probably, if there was no G20, he probably would have said he's going to start a commission to determine whether it's. But we are grateful, and I think, as I said, excuse me, even from the beginning, I love the creativity that went into it, the timing of it all of these little things. I was driving from the Friday, driving to work because I knew that the traffic was going to be crazy. There were going to be, road closures and stuff. And I was like, to get home, I'll go take the Gau train. It was a very beautiful and phenomenal, getting from the Gau train station to go to work. In an Uber, even asked the Uber driver, can you stop? Because all the protesters were everywhere. You could get out and they're just walking about up until 12 midday when they had to do that ceremonial and doing nothing. I could pick up from Michelle, Samantha Campbell, thank you so much. Nobuli G, the march was amazing in PE, my hometown. Cape Town was represented almost everywhere. People came out and said, message. It was so beautiful.
And I want to say, even people that didn't get the opportunity to go, because we understand the privileges that we have are different, right? Some people didn't have the privilege of going to join a march, but there were people that took time in their offices to just, at that 12 o'clock, period, that actually really participated in their own spaces and in their homes. People, took time to stop and do nothing and not work and just lie down. For me, it's very important we also understand that there's no hierarchy in activism. Involvement can look differently, but what is important is that we all came together, and the whole country stood still at 12 to say we do not want to see the continuation of people being killed in our country, whether male, whether female, whether young, whether old. We do not want this violence to continue. That's it.
Yeah, Quinn, I have to say thank you very much for this, and I know how much it means to you. And what you talk about, it's very amazing. Like, for those people who were unaware, it was very strange because a couple of us, or a great number of us, were dressed in black. Like when you come across somebody else who's dressed in black, you feel some level of connectivity. Otherwise, if you had gone to work or gone to the shop in your ordinary clothes, you probably would have looked at each other as strangers. But because you were all dressed in black and you knew what it was for, even if you're not saying anything, but you are nodding in things. So that's what I'm saying. It was a very, very beautiful and well put together. But anything that's put together by women, guys, like, what the hell do we expect?
I mean, please.
I don't like, really, like in China, I'm going sana. Thank you so much. Beautiful, phenomenal episode. I want to say,
beautiful. I you know what, and Difuna, I want to come to the film festival actually on Monday and Tuesday. I'm traveling out on the Wednesday, but let's talk about this, because I definitely want to come and just experience it myself. But I think also we definitely need to
we'll be doing the episode
few
today.
promos that we can share with people. I mean, this episode was fire. We need to share it, the nuggets of it all, and just give it out there for people to also know that this is what's happening. I am so inspired, and I'm just like, I just want to participate and be there and see what's happening. This amazing work that is being done, but Gabantu Betu guys, we need to support it, but also we need to experience it ourselves.
Yeah. And I think I'm crossing fingers. We're both next week, Monday's episode. We will be there sitting with Ian and all the other people, esteemed guests that we've been speaking to, watching this film. It's going to be the opening production, being the first film of the night of the festival that is going to be shown. And that's because of its importance and obviously stemming from the conversation that we had. So I look forward to that. So I'll see you next week, Monday.
Can I come? Can I come on Monday?
I'm gonna be there. You said you leave on Wednesday, so Monday, Tuesday, you were there. I got your accreditation, go. I got you sorted.
Oh man, thank you so much, Lang.
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful week ahead. Have a good one. And thank you to our viewers. Please make sure that you follow us. Press like and all those things they say.
Hit that. Hit those buttons, all of them, man. And just give us a little bit of some love, and upload to Andas people Facebook. All of a sudden, they must come back. They must come back, and we want and
please.
Show some love. We're still
all
alive.
Right. Thank you. Have a beautiful one, Queen.
Bye, Slang.